I think it's actually quite pathetic. One, her and Harry gave their word that they wouldn't use that. But for me, that's not the most important thing. For me, is why does this woman who knows she's not supposed to use this title, why does she need to use it? Okay, is she so dense that she thinks her friends and associates in America don't know about this agreement that was made with the Queen? Of course.
Well, they probably don't. Why would they?
No, I'm sure they absolutely will. It was reported widely at the time. It was an agreement made in 2020 and it was widely reported. But doesn't she know, and them knowing that, doesn't she know how silly and desperate this makes her look? Because her colleagues know she's just using this as an affectation to make her look more relevant and important than she actually is. And what's going on inside her head that she needs to do that she needs to think that she's Her Royal Highness? She is not. She decided...
She's married to Diana's son.
No, doesn't make her Royal Highness. Royal. No, she opted out. That title is reserved for working royals, and she opted out of that quite clearly.
What about Andrew? Is he still HRH?
Well, he's not a working royal, so he shouldn't.
I think he has been stripped.
So he shouldn't be.
Wasn't that reinstated?
Well, I don't. I'm just trying to work out if Andrew's got it, then she should have it.
But I think the problem, no, because Andrew's not going to use it he's not going to monetize it for commercial purposes. She has, and she will. And
I think Andrew's been stripped of it, actually.
Yeah. And the thing is, at the time, Charles Charles and the Queen were asked if they wanted to strip them of their Duke and Duchess titles, and Charles thought it would be a bit spiteful and didn't pursue it because it takes an act of Parliament to do that. So Charles didn't do it. But I'm wondering if since then he thinks he should have, because this couple have tried to trash the family, they've tried to destroy the family, destroy the reputation. I
don't know. Listen, let's get Nelufar on. Do you agree or not?
It's a hamper, Jeremy. It's some jam.
You don't mind it?
I think.
It's not about the jam,
it's
about the
jam.
card.
I think she's put a note on some jam. She's clearly taking the mick. She's playing up to this persona. I don't think this is an official document. She's not requested for anything.
Well, she's had it printed, so she's at some point...
She's had it printed in the same way that you might print a card. I might call myself that. I call No, come on. This isn't.
Do you have cards printed cards for yourself if you're giving your own to give it around businesses to people and stuff? Do you have jokes printed on them? Do you take the mick out of yourself on your business cards?
It depends. Am I writing in a CV or am I making a hamper of strawberry jam? Absolutely not. Okay, so first of all, I think it's a cute little thing between her and her friends.
Oh,
and
please.
I think it's cute and I think it's lovely.
It's so naive.
I can't say this anymore. It's on a packet of jam. And I don't think that we should take it as serious as that. I don't think this is a stab in the heart of the royal family as it's been made out to be.
No, it's not.
It's by no means frivolous at the most.
Can we ponder over the absurdity of the situation when a woman gets criticised for a title on a card attached to a jar of jam? Yes, you heard it right. We're talking about a jam jar. A simple, sweet, homemade jar of jam that brought a storm of controversy, all thanks to a woman named Carole Malone. Once again, Carole Malone has launched a bitter attack on Meghan Sussex. This time she's upset because Meghan chose to use her HRH title on a note that came with a jar of homemade jam. That's right, folks. We've reached a point where even jam isn't safe from controversy. Carole Malone, who has a history of targeting Meghan Sussex, decided this was a moment worth her outrage. But this time, she was shut down, and in a powerful way, by Nelufar Hedayat. Nelufar didn't hold back. She called out the absurdity of the backlash, stating calmly and clearly, "It's on a packet of jam. I don't think this is a stab in the heart of the royal family." And she's absolutely right. Meghan Sussex is just living her life, building her brand, and spreading a little joy, even through something as simple and comforting as a jar of jam. But no matter what she does, bitter voices like Carole Malone try to twist it into something it's not. This fixation on Meghan's every move isn't criticism, it's outright desperation. Nelufar went further, asserting that people are overreacting, as they often do when it comes to Meghan. She made it clear that Meghan using the HRH title isn't a crisis, it's a non-issue. Even Jeremy Vine, who's not a stranger to criticising Meghan, had to admit it's not a mistake for Meghan to use HRH if Prince Andrew still uses it. A rare moment of honesty, indeed. So here's to Nelufar Hedayat, for her voice, for standing up and for saying what needed to be said. Thank you for calling out the nonsense and for reminding everyone that Meghan Sussex deserves to live in peace, without being subjected to petty attacks by those desperate for relevance. And there we have it, a storm in a jam jar, stirred by none other than Carole Malone. In the midst of this nonsensical uproar, a voice of reason emerges, Nelufar Hedayat. Enter a beacon of sanity in the storm of absurdity. A journalist, known for her insightful commentary and unflinching honesty, Nelufar Hedayat steps up to the plate, ready to bat away the baseless outrage directed at Meghan Sussex. Now let's take a moment to appreciate the poise and clarity with which Nelufar approaches this situation. With the patience of a saint and the precision of a surgeon, she dissects the uproar surrounding Meghan's use of the HRH title. Her words, clear and measured, cut through the clamour like a knife through butter. It's on a packet of jam. I don't think this is a stab in the heart of the royal family, she asserts, grounding the conversation firmly in reality. Her response is a breath of fresh air, isn't it? A stark contrast to the hot air and hyperbole that seems to surround any discussion involving Meghan Sussex. But Nelufar doesn't stop there. She boldly insists that people are overreacting, a statement that rings true when you consider the magnitude of the reaction against something as innocuous as a title on a jam jar. Meghan's use of the HRH title, she maintains, is not a crisis. It's a non-issue. This rational approach is refreshing, especially when juxtaposed against the relentless and often irrational criticism Meghan faces. And it's this calm, clear-headed perspective that elicits a rare moment of honesty from Jeremy Vine, who is known for his own criticisms of Meghan. Even he has to admit, it's not a mistake for Meghan to use HRH if Prince Andrew still uses it. As we navigate the tumultuous waters of public opinion, it's voices like Nelufar's that we need to guide us. Voices that call out the absurdity, that bring us back to reality, and that remind us to focus on what truly matters. And in this case, what truly matters is not a title on a jar of jam, but the woman behind it, living her life and spreading joy. As Nelufar so aptly put it, this is not a crisis, it's a non-issue. Even those known for their critiques had to admit the absurdity of this situation. This line encapsulates the unusual agreement that occurred, a rare moment where critics and defenders found common ground in the debate over Meghan Sussex. Enter Jeremy Vine, a figure not unfamiliar with expressing his thoughts on Meghan. Yet even he couldn't ignore the glaring inconsistency and the outrage targeted at Meghan. He made a statement that sent ripples across the debate, a comment that was perhaps unexpected, yet undeniably true. Jeremy Vine, in all his candour, stated, "It's not a mistake for Meghan to use HRH if Prince Andrew still uses it." Consider that for a moment. Here's a critic who has often found himself at odds with Meghan's actions, openly acknowledging the double standards that exist. He points out the hypocrisy of deriding Meghan for using the HRH title while Prince Andrew, despite his own controversies, continues to use it unscathed. This statement from Vine is more than just an agreement. It's a reflection of the larger discourse surrounding Meghan Sussex, a discourse filled with double standards and unfair criticisms. It's a testament to the relentless scrutiny Meghan faces, where even a simple jar of jam can ignite a firestorm of controversy. But in the midst of all the noise, Vine's comment stands as a beacon of rationality. It's a reminder that Meghan, like any other individual, has the right to use titles that are rightfully hers, especially when others in similar positions continue to do so without any backlash. Vine's comment, though a small part of the larger narrative, is a significant one. It's a moment where a critic acknowledges the absurdity of the situation, where he pushes back against the tide of baseless accusations and stands up for fairness. It's an unusual agreement, yes, but one that was much needed in a debate that often seems to lose sight of reason and fairness. A rare moment of honesty indeed. As we navigate through the complex narrative surrounding Meghan Sussex, let's hope for more of these moments where reason triumphs over bias and fairness over petty criticisms. It's high time we acknowledge those who stand up against such baseless attacks. As we navigate through the tide of misinformation that swirls around Meghan Sussex, a beacon of truth emerges, and her name is Nelufar Hedayat. In a world where the absurdity of outrage over a title on a jar of jam can dominate headlines, Hedayat's voice rings out clear and strong. She cuts through the noise with the precision of a scalpel, reminding us of the importance of context and perspective. Her stance is not just about defending Meghan Sussex, but about defending the principles of fairness, respect, and dignity that should be accorded to every individual. Hedayat's response to Carole Malone's baseless attack was not only a powerful rebuttal, but a much-needed reminder of the reality of the situation. Her words, "It's on a packet of jam. I don't think this is a stab in the heart of the royal family," echo with a resonating truth. It's a non-issue, a storm in a teacup, an overreaction that distracts from the real matters at hand. In a world that often seems eager to tear Meghan Sussex down, Hedayat's voice is a refreshing antidote. Her refusal to join the chorus of critics, her insistence on highlighting the absurdity of the situation, is a testament to her integrity and courage. It's not easy to swim against the tide, but Hedayat does so with grace and determination. Her actions serve as a beacon of hope, a reminder that there are those who are not afraid to speak truth to power, to stand up for what is right. Her voice of reason is a welcome contrast to the cacophony of criticism that Meghan Sussex often faces. So let's take a moment to appreciate Nelufar Hedayat. Let's celebrate her courage, her clarity, and her commitment to truth. Let's acknowledge her for standing up, for speaking out, and for reminding us of the importance of fairness and respect in our discourse. Thank you, Nelufar Hedayat, for reminding everyone that Meghan Sussex deserves to live in peace, without being a target of petty attacks by those desperate for relevance.